Hello and welcome. Today's date comes in that of Monday, 6th of April, 2020. My name is Derek, and this is the Money Charts channel. All bets, all trades, and of the like. Well, that's within your own risk and your own reward. For myself, risk-reward management is always number one, and really understanding where your risks are, if you can understand probability odds, and just so many different factors, the better one does in ventures for such. Well, all the charts for today: gold, silver, Bitcoin, the stock market, or the Dow, they're all up, and they're all up significant amounts percentage-wise today. The gold market, according to the gold spot price, and there's a big differential now within this and the futures. And there has been for a while, but it's expanding. Up 2.45% on the spot, breaking out above this previous level of resistance, and most importantly, leaving this 18 average of highs from this correctionary phase, from really the point A low to the point B high in here, point C correctionary low, and now we're establishing point D, new leg higher, next previous level of high. Well, that's in at 1685 to 1699. Well, on the futures, gold's already over 1700, or pretty much at that. Because we go in here, we have the G1, this is the future, 1703. And within it, it's barely breaking out above the resistance established March 9th and March 24th and 25th as well. Also breaking out above the 18 average of highs, continuing, of course, this leg higher from the June breakout as it got, of course, above this major level of resistance at around the 13 high level change. So far, so good, and now it's coming up and approaching the previous all-time highs in that of 1900, and I just think this is a phenomenal time frame. The yearly chart, the excitation of the 18 average of highs, and this thing breaking resistance is what I'm expecting most likely this year, and doing such wouldn't be a surprise for phenomenal moves higher, like 3,000, 4,000, 5, 6, 7, who knows how much higher, but decent leg higher is what I'm stating on the break of a little under 2,000. Let's move on to silver. 1493 on this in here, and 1523 on the spot price. Up 3.5% here, but up 5% on this. But the prices, of course, I've been talking about lately for the last few weeks has been the prices that you're paying above spot, and the premiums are, of course, fantastically high right now. And supply issues are going to be very interesting as mines shut down, mints shut down. We're interesting times. I'm going to leave it at that, with the expectations that any large moves higher would not be a surprise. And we're looking at this failed breakdown in here, especially when we take a look at this thing on the monthly chart, or which time frame was I looking at this? Maybe it was on, really in here. You have these layers of support at like 1387 area, high 13s, 13 and 3/4 up to like 14 and a half. And of course, it's already above it on this level of 1491. A nice little move and how it's been correcting within this 18, and now we see it, of course, leaving the resistance. A successful move, because it's not only the move that I'm looking for, but it's how it reacts to the move, and I've liked how it was reacted to this multiple day move from these $12 prices. Of course, impossible to buy anywhere near these levels, as it's impossible to buy anywhere near 15. If you take a look at this again from the futures perspective, nice little breakout above the 18 average of highs in here as well. So this looks like a setup where this should probably get up and make a test, maybe into the 16, 17 area, probably relatively soon. Within the short-term single hour, we can see that it established a lot of this resistance near 1486 up to about 1499, at least on the futures exchange. And it's gone above it by a quarter. So that of like 1.5% or so, successfully supporting here, and then this support here was within this resistance. And that's a nice little move so far from these lows. Again, how does a move react? Well, there was this big down move several days up, and that's been the correctionary play that's been. So it got up to this upper end March 24th at about 1800 hours, or end of the day on the 24th, and it's breaking it today on the 6th. So 2 weeks of this consolidation now going higher. Let's move on now to the Dow Jones, and everything up with these big moves. DJI right here, 5.7% up, $1,200. And we can see like a cup and handle formation, nice little bullish pattern, but it's at the area of the established resistance. Right? And I don't even know why I'm drawing the line in. It's pretty much at it now. But within it, it's the situation where we have the, just give my drawing tool in here. The left one, the cup, the handle, and getting above this level of resistance, then you can start to talk about, well, I'd be looking at this making a 61.8% move from this high to this low, which is this, about 30,000 divided by about 18,000 or so, to the root of 0.618, multiply the low of 18.2, 18.3-ish, whatever that number happens to be, and that number, which will come in around 25,000, 26,000, is where I'd be expecting a break of this level. And in viewing it on the daily term, what it's doing, it's also correcting within this move to the 18th. So like I was stating, within the silver from the March 23rd lows of, I guess the lows come in at 18,214 on the round. And it got up to these highs really on the 26th though. Well, a little couple of weeks or so. And the resistance is like 22,575. So it's still got a little bit to go, but on the day right now, it's up 5.85% or 1,200 points. So still no sign of this correction of the low volatility coming in. When we're having 5%, 1,000 Dow days, whether they're up or down, that's going to be reflective of the capitulation style markets. Whether these are going to be the lows, well, that'll be known after the fact. Because it could even come up here and then make a lower high, as I call it. Kind of, we have a key high, key low, whatever the high happens to be. And then, of course, we could end up going down and testing these levels later. Lots of different possibilities. And then we could be running into hyperinflationary modes with the stock market, maybe even soon. Who knows, to the point where this goes to 50, 60, 80,000 like it's no tomorrow. And I think of stocks, a lot of it's going to come down to those who survive. It's going to be a lot easier for companies like in the area of, well, the pharmaceuticals and like soup companies that make Campbell's soup are going to do a little bit better than maybe cruise ships and airline stocks will, as one example. Of course, your risk, your reward for which ones you choose if you're playing this game. Let's move on to the Bitcoin market next. And it's up... It's up against gold, only 4.2% against gold, but against the dollar, it's up 6.8%. Let's take a look at it first with these Fibonacci lines. This is the Coinbase exchange. And as I've been mentioning, I hate to say showing strength amongst the 18 average of highs, but regardless of the fact, this is a pretty darn near good setup. Because we have been seeing how it's been playing this lower volatile grade holding amongst the 18 average of highs for the last few days. Within where the green line is at the 72.5 handle, well, the high here is 72.92. Our high today is 72.50. So we're $42 away. And we're pretty much at the day's highs. We're $3 from it. So we're at the intraday highs. We've gotten above all these other previous levels of resistance from March the 20th and March the 25th. And making a play above this usually tells me, okay, again, we're going to do the 61.8% from this low to this high. We got this previous level here at 83. And we got this fib level in itself at the 9,800 or even 10,000 as a possibility too. And one of the things I've been thinking, whether it'll work out this way, I don't know. But there's a lot of people that are going to be having extra fiat currency that they're going to want to get out of it. And yes, maybe they've already got all their quote-unquote essential items that they can get. And they realize that gold is expensive. And it's interesting when you buy gold and you realize I put this much and you see really how small amount it is. But really when you think, oh man, is it really a good buy or not? I don't know if it is. And I believe it is, but you do get a small amount of gold. You put like 400, 500, 1,000. You buy an ounce of gold. You're spending like a couple thousand plus American for it. And it's a decent sized coin, but it's not too large. And people get determined by that, I think, a little bit. That's pretty much what I'm trying to say on that. Then silver, you're just not getting it. So for the combination of people not being able to get the metals and the fact that gold's psychological number being so high, it'll be interesting how many people do get into cryptos. Plus the fact that people it's just easier for some people, and maybe they realize, and well, if right now anyway, as far as distribution, it's a lot easier to distribute cryptocurrencies. At least I feel on my end, it's a lot easier to do so than it is amongst the precious metals. And in forms of payment, to me, cryptocurrencies do very, very well. In today's session for Bitcoin, it got above the 18 average of highs at midnight, basically last night, and it's just been continuously going up throughout the session. I always talk about how it's going to handle key areas. Well, those first key areas was 7,000 from this level of resistance here, this resistance, and even for that matter, this general area here. But how did it handle it? Well, it managed to really congest and support this between 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and even hold and stay above it up until just like a couple hours ago now. Now it's getting up to that next key level, which of course is this high from April the 2nd. How we react after that, okay, yada yada, we'll see. And of course, anything that we see on the short term, you can use stuff like the hourly time frame, where we come back from one area 7,038 all the way down to 6,879 as a deep pullback, really the must-hold area from this breakout. But it's at the stage where this thing gets above this level of resistance. Yeah, we're going back to the daily. We're looking for a significant move. So it gets to the stage where, okay, we're at 74.50. I don't like that sell area, because I think it's going to go to 75.50 fast, and then it's going to go to 77 fast, and it's going to go to like 8,000 fast. We'll see if it does in that situation. And of course, that situation meaning price action equals that, where the bid-ask price is like 74.50. Does it go up faster after that? Of course, time will tell. And in finishing this off, let's take a look at Bitcoin against gold, 4.37, which means that you need 3.38 ounces of gold to get 1 Bitcoin. And it's going to be Bitcoin that I think is going to really control where this market does end up going. Because just like the one against the dollar, this pretty much looks about the same. This is the equivalency of the 3,000 support. This is the equivalency of the 20,000 resistance. What might end up happening in this spot is Bitcoin goes up to 20,000, and this will go up too, will probably go up, and then it'll go up to a most significant lower high than this because of gold's prices. We could be seeing Bitcoin at like 30, 40,000 or some sort of much larger number just to get back to this 15 number. As it goes right now, it would be, if to double, this would be like almost 9. And then if we were to, if we just times this by 4, that would be like 17, which would be just a little bit of a break higher. And if we times the Bitcoin price, which is like 7,000, times that by 4, we're already near 30,000 as it is anyway. But I'm going to be curious if there's going to be a time where gold will actually control this market, because whether Bitcoin's up and down moves will determine if this goes up or down. As it's just not common for gold to have these 5, 6, 9, 10% days. And although we've had some lower volatile moves within gold or Bitcoin before this, it's still a very volatile beast, and we're in very volatile times, given, of course, the most obvious current global situation, and really the economic shutdown is, I'm going to be looking at it because there's so many quote-unquote non-essentials that are forced out of business. And I think as this continues to prolong longer, we're going to see a lot of black markets occur in this world. Black markets like someone going to someone's house to get like a haircut. I'm not kidding when I say things like that, or the hairdresser coming to someone's house, either or. You know what I mean? Because that's almost like selling like marijuana to someone, and I guess that's almost becoming back in that old days again. Either we can call those interesting times, to say the least. And the fallout from the cost of really what's never happened is going to be playing out as we continue through April into May. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye bye.